much, as you guys just seen, we pulled the car from the painter. I tried talking with them before even making the decision to pull in the car, because I really didn't want to pull the car. But apparently, you know, I was too broke to pay for a paint job. Me asking for them to remove the window seal glue was not the responsibility of the painter. It was the responsibility of me to go and take it off, or to the window person. So that's the reason why he didn't bother pulling it off. I then talked to him about basically how everything was going, as far as like the progress of it. It's gonna be 2 months. Granted, I told him to wait 1 week, put it on hold until, because I came to the decision today. So it's been a month and 3 weeks, give or take, or a month and 4 weeks, because sometimes there's always more extra days. So pretty much the decision was just to pull it. I didn't pay him any more money because I felt in my heart, honestly, truthfully, the car was not worth it. There wasn't a lot of progress done to it. There's a lot of hiccups, a lot of issues with it, and I'm just not satisfied with it. And at the end of the day, I come to the conclusion of just pulling it. So hopefully I can find a painter now, or somebody else to fix this mistake. They've gone through pretty much everything. All the primer, all the clear coat is like a quarter left. So I think I am going to be filing a lawsuit against them and pretty much getting my money back from them and my material, because it's just going to put me back more farther in the hole, unfortunately. So we're going to see what we have to do. But as far as that painter, guys, do not use him. Do not use him. I apologize for recommending him. I thought it was going to be a done deal where he was going to be a man of his word, and apparently people ain't a man of the word anymore. I've tried to be really good people with them. I've tried giving them like gifts and stuff like that, not for like stuff in return. I just really wanted a good paint job, and I wanted to build a relationship with somebody to be able to use in the future for other cars, as I've explained before, and that was the whole goal. So I ended up calling my little brother Tazzy, and we came with my cousin and some other people. We came and picked it up, and I also brought my little fucking backup, my little bodyguard. But yeah, unfortunately things didn't work out for me, and I'm not gonna give up hope, but it's gonna be a slower process now, progress I could say, putting everything back together and figuring out the next step, because the car still needs to get finished, and this is a big setback in my opinion, at least for me. So we're on our way home now. We're gonna go ahead and get there, unload the car. I'm not sure where my tow truck driver is at. He actually took off, and he's actually a fast-ass driver, so if you guys need quality work and fast-paced work, hit up Romero Works. I'll put his link in the description. But yeah, see you guys when we get home.
I was looking for you.
Huh? We can push it inside, don't matter.
I'm not turning this shit.
It's a fucking badass color, bro. Fuck. Well guys, as you guys just finished seeing, we unfortunately had to pull the car from the painter. Maybe it's just me, I overreacted a little bit. I'm not gonna say no, but this is still not the quality what I was told. Coming down to talk to him today and finding out some issues, like I said, he was all of a sudden gonna try to attend. As you can see here, there's a lot of mixes and it's not even finished yet. Inside of here of the headlight trim is not even painted. The frame doesn't have a lot of paint on it. Here also you can still see the white underneath it, and then shock towers, you can still see the primer underneath. It is very like grainy now because he didn't sand down that last coat of primer that he put on. He just basically misted it, and wherever it was landed, it landed. He also didn't put no seam sealer here on the edges where we were supposed to fill in on the bottom, and it was only supposed to be minimal seam sealer here. This was a lot smoother than this, and you can see all the lumps here. You can even hear the clear coat just pop. Top of the firewall isn't painted either. It looks like it has paint, but you can still see the primer. You can still see where it doesn't have clear coat. All of this right here is just very sloppy in the inside. And then here also you can still see the primer underneath the paint. And then this is where we get to the nitty gritty. We can see all this clear and there's no clear here. I left this seam sealer here smoother just because that's what I wanted, and I showed him, I left it there so I can show him an example of what needed to be done, and that didn't even get done. Also, all right guys, so pretty much car is back in the garage now after a few hours. It's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening already of the same day. I did come out here, I did work on the car a little bit just to try to give myself a little bit of motivation and show you guys what the car would have looked like if it was all painted one color. Unfortunately, you can't see the whole car being painted because the rest of the car is not painted except for the rear quarter panel and the doors are not. And we got some issues. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick what it was going to look like. And I love the color. I love the way it just pops in the light and the way it's subtle in the garage. Unfortunately, I just don't know what I'm going to do next because the moving kit needs to be resprayed, along with the trunk. The hood needs to be resprayed, and also the engine bay has to be resprayed. And a lot of other parts need to be resprayed. Main issues are down here. You can see this isn't painted, you know. It was supposed to be all painted so that way we prevent any paint from chipping up and peeling off later on in the future. It's actually on both sides. And of course, as you guys already seen, the bottom of the headlight buckets, the inside corners, and the shock towers, and so on and so forth. And again, the whole moving kit has to be redone because it was poorly done and there's big issues on them still, especially with the wing. The wing had a bunch of not overspray, but you know, clear, looks like running, and paint running on it. So all that stuff has to be redone. I did have a painter come just recently. He left about 45 minutes ago, and we were just talking, trying to figure out a solution to see what we can get fixed, because one thing that, or two things should I say, are the major issues of him telling me and even him identifying after was the sunroof. And let me go ahead and show you guys that real quick. So when the gentleman did the tape job, he did not make sure that the tape was fully cut and covering basically the whole metal molding of it to make sure that paint would not overlap and create that barrier. So later on in the future, or as you're driving, as the body flexes, that or hood moves around or whatever it is, right? Because this is a sunroof. The paint won't chip and break. Unfortunately, his tape job let the paint go over and he didn't pull it off in time, and basically it created that bond. So now it's more of like a hill going over it with paint and clear, so it's fully bonded to it. So now that has to be gently either cut or the roof has to be fully stripped down, along with this section here. This whole section from this point all the way to the rear quarter panel has to be sanded down and redone because of the issues here. Here it looks like something got caught onto the paint, a hose, his body, his clothes, whatever, and it created the paint to kind of wrinkle up and create a high level. So once if you sand it, it's just going to take it all off. So the best recommendation is to sand down this whole section, top of the roof section, cut the roof sunroof molding edging right, and then respray, and then go ahead and peel that off. And it's also because, you know, this section here that was, you can see the big old paint run coming from all the way up here all the way down here, that is actually in the paint, not in the clear coat. And then the bumpers need to be redone. As you can see, that is not done correctly. You know, you can still see the red under it, you know, all the way down here you can still see the primer, still see the red. So again, there's a lot of issues that need to be readdressed. And so I do have a few options of doing things. And let me go ahead and explain to you guys those options right now. All right, guys. So pretty much now it's a decision that I need to make. And I'm not sure what decision I'm going to go with. As you guys seen, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to this car. And after speaking with the painter, it's about for me to have him repaint this car as far as the driver's side and the roof, and then everything else that wasn't painted, and also fix the quarter panel, the doors, the and an engine bay, I have to come up with $3,000 more, because that will include a color sand and buff. That's still not really touching the other quarter panel and the front fenders and smaller stuff on the underside of the hood and underside of the trunk, right? Because that is those are all actually okay, but for the rest of it, it's going to cost me about $3,000 to color sand it, have him readdress the driver's side quarter panel section, the roof section, and also the engine bay, bumpers, moving kit, top of the bumper or top of the hood, top of the trunk, etc. So, and then also I have to buy more paint because the paint that I have left over is not enough to redo what needs to be fixed on this car. That is option number one. So in total, I will be in it with what I paid the gentleman beforehand, the first painter, and then the material. I would be in it almost $10,000, unfortunately. And that's just money I don't have, because coming up with $3,000 on top of the $3,000 that I already have saved up, plus what I paid the painter, I just don't have extra $3,000. So second option is for me to go ahead and go get some paint, get that put in, get that mixed, so that way I can bring it back, spray the A through B, C trunk area, the inner door shells of the passenger side, and the roof section, so that way it all has a uniform coat of the same color, and then put the interior back into the car. And then from there, go ahead and slowly work on the all-wheel drive setup. That is option number two. Or what my wife wants me to do is pretty much to tackle everything by myself. For me to go ahead and just paint the rest of the car that needs to be done, and then have the gentleman that he also offered this, which he would charge me around $1,000, to come and color sand and buff everything, but he is not going to guarantee everything is going to come out 100%. So that is my third option. But in that same third option, I would be able to concentrate on the all-wheel drive setup, make sure all that is done, remove the fuel tank, have the interior put back in, and then pretty much have the doors and everything else sprayed the same color as the car, and hoping that everything is done correctly. So going back to option number three, is if I decide to do option number three, first reason I really don't want to do option number three is because I don't have the skill set to do any of this stuff. I have painted some stuff, but you can still see tiger stripes on it. It's not perfect, and there's stuff wrong with it. Also, with number three is that the driver's side panel and the roof will not be fixed. I'm gonna have to leave it the way it is, cut around the molding, and hope that it's all gonna work out in the future. And then readdress that later on in the future. I don't know which way to go, in honesty, so it's something else I'm really gonna have to think about which way I'm gonna do it. And hopefully you guys stick around, and hopefully I come into a decision quick, because again, I want to try to make more progress, and I will update you guys on the next video once we figure out the next move. But pretty much, guys, with that being said, this is where we're gonna end the video. And if you guys look forward to more progress on this car, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think of what decision I should go with. And yeah, catch you guys on the next one. Till next time, guys.